Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for an episode of the PokéBroadcast. You got Trey and Nick here from the Pokemon Troupe. Today we have a set review for XY BreakThrough for you guys.
Yeah, sorry this hasn't come out sooner. We probably should have done this about a month ago, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's get right on into it.
Let's get into this. Okay, so we're just going to go down through the set list, just pretty much in set order, talk about stuff that we see fit. Like, we're going to talk about all the break Pokemon, all the EXs, and then just any other Pokemon that we find interesting.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to look at is this Semi-Sage. It has the Hand Fling attack. Its attack does 10 damage times the number of cards in your hand, which is really similar to the most OP deck ever, Metagross. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
I had to put this in just in spite of Trey.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat because all of like Semi-Sage, Simipour, and Simisear all have this attack, and so it's just kind of cool to see all these. So
yeah, and it's a stage 1, so if you are going to play this form of a deck, I would recommend using the monkeys, the elemental monkeys. But yeah, we'll go right over here to Chestnut Break. For 2 grass, 2 colors, does 160, and this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So,
yeah,
it's 8. I mean, it has 190 HP,
which is pretty nice.
Which is really awesome for a non-EX Pokemon, and it can do 180 and then a 30 snipe if it has a Muscle Band. But then it also has 30 to itself, so it's essentially 160 HP.
And the fact that when you break evolve, it is actually an evolution, so this thing is like a stage 3?
Yeah. Granted, Chestnut is a grass-type Pokemon, so it can take advantage of Forest of Giant Plants.
Yeah.
But it's still probably too slow.
It's still kind of hard just to get to Chestnut Break.
Yeah. It's still 3 energy attachments, like 2 grass and a double colorless. Possibly 4 energy attachments. So, yeah, it probably won't see play.
Yeah, the meta's just too fast for a card like this right now.
This card hasn't been seen play, and if it ever does, it's something insane will have to happen for evolutions. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do Training Center and have... No, that wouldn't even work because this is a break evolution, not a stage 1 or stage 2.
Not a stage 1 or stage 2.
Nope, not worth it. Okay, and then obviously we have the most OP card in the set, Spupa! Okay, that's all.
We just wanted to say that.
I like Spupa. Spupa's fun to say.
That's just a lot of fun to say.
Okay, so we have this Typhlosion here, and this is pretty cool. For 1 fire, it does 80 damage. Well, it does. You discard the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack does 80 damage times the number of energy cards you discarded. So this can be pretty cool. I mean, you can potentially do 400 damage with this card.
Yeah, that would be an immense amount of damage. That's not a necessary amount of damage, obviously, but...
I mean, what if you're going against, like, a Wailord with, like... What if you're going against a Wailord with, like, 5 giant capes?
Did you even just hear what you just said?
What? Okay, but yeah, so this is pretty cool. It can do a lot of damage, but your deck does have to be stacked up so that there's a lot of energy cards on top of it, and you are milling yourself, which could be bad.
But I mean, there's kind of ways to get around that. I mean, energy returner and like
energy recycler, that stuff.
That kind of stuff. Did I say energy returner?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's a really old card.
Jesus, I didn't know what you were talking about for a second. Like, what? I like.
No, that's
energy retrieval?
No, that's...
Yeah.
I was talking about a way old card. No, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
And then it also kind of throwback to 2011 here. It has the same attack as Typhlosion Prime. Discard an energy, attach this Pokemon, then discard an energy, attach your opponent's active. That's just kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I don't know. Probably won't see play at the current moment, but there are a lot of stage 2s in this set that could potentially be really good.
Yeah.
Which makes me think they might do something to help evolution Pokemon later in a later set. And now here we got our two I don't even know. We got 2 Pokemon. 2 EXs. Got Houndoom EX and this has been used a little bit to mill cards. Melting Horn, discard top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. The second attack is pretty meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very good. But the milling has been seeing some play.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of play. So that's kind of cool. And then
we have Mega Houndoom EX, which really,
I mean, it does 160 if you discard all fire energies, but then you have to have a muscle band to do 180. But then if you attach a muscle band, then you can't use a Spirit Link to Mega Evolve without ending your turn, unless you use like Tool Retriever or something. So
and it's all this just kind of mess.
It's just a big mess, and it's really not that good.
It's just not worth that whole fight.
Not worth it. Just, I mean, 2 energies doing 160. Don't get me wrong, that's really strong, but you do have to discard them. But then, I mean, there's a new fire energy coming out that just came out. We'll talk about that, but that does help this. But overall, I don't know if it's not really worth it. I don't think. But whatever. Octillery here. Yeah, it's a pretty cool card. You want to talk about it?
Oh, sure. Octillery's ability, once during your turn, before you attack, you may draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. So, I mean, at any point, then that's the phone going off. Sorry about that, guys. But at any point in time, I mean, and obviously if you have less than 5 cards, you can draw up to 5, and that's just really nice draw support. And
we've seen effects similar to this all the way back from Magnezone Prime with Magnetic Draw, filling up your hand up to 6. Electrode from Plasma Freeze, filling your hand up to 4, and Delphox, filling your hand up to 6. But this is a stage 1, so it is an upgrade from the old Electrode that only drew up to 4. You drop to 5. It's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I don't know how good it is with how we have Shaman and stuff now, so it's
yeah, I mean, Shaman kind of...
It's a little better.
Yeah.
But, still a cool card nonetheless. Next, we have our next set of Mega Evolution. We have Glalie EX. People have been talking about this a little bit. If you do, because for a water and 2 colorless, you can do 50, and if you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, attack does 100 more. So that plus a muscle band does 170, and that can knock out quite a few EXs. So that's pretty cool, I think.
And especially when it's paired with a card like Judge, which I mean immediately puts the same amount of cards in your hand as your opponent.
Yeah, and then you could play something like Octillery to get it round, to fill your hand up. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hasn't really been seeing a lot of play. We're seeing any play though, just because it's probably a little too slow, I think. Because right now the format is essentially you have to be one-shotting or attacking as soon as possible, putting on a lot of pressure. So yeah, it's not too great. Next we have Mega Glalie EX, which is kind of cool if you have 10 or more damage counters. Yes, I said damage counters on it. This attack does 150 more damage.
So that's actually having 100 damage on it. But originally, a lot of us misread that. I specifically did.
I did too.
I thought if you had 10 damage on it, it would do 150 more, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So essentially, this is pretty much a 120 HP EX that can do 250 damage. And to get your Pokemon to be only able to do 250 when it has 10 or more damage counters, it's kind of tough
to get down to that number. I mean, especially if you want to do it yourself. I mean, your opponent's obviously going to attack you, but to get down to that number, that's just kind of hard. So I don't see this card getting much play.
Yeah, not too great, but it's a cool concept. I think if it was just 10 damage, that would be pretty insane.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Because you could use Rainbow Energy. That'd be pretty good. I don't know how much play that would still see. I think it would see some play, but sadly, that's not the case. Okay, so our next Pokemon we got here is this Empoleon. And Trey, you want to talk about this Empoleon real fast,
Okay, and the ability for this Empoleon, each of your base Pokemon's attacks does 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for applying weakness and resistance. So it's just going to boost up your Pokemon pretty highly, and then obviously we have another target for Archies.
Yeah.
So, pretty solid card, honestly.
People have been talking about using this for say maybe like a Night March deck, so you don't have to have as many Night Marchers in the discard pile, because in the standard format you don't have Mew EX, so you do have to attack with Night March Pokemon all the time. So this is a cool concept for that. And then, people have talked about it with Seismitoad EX. Seismitoad EX will do even more damage, plus the item lock makes it pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cool card. I'm not sure if people have been really playing it a lot.
Yeah, I haven't heard much play. I've just gotten a lot of speculation on what it could be played in.
Yeah, people have been talking about it. I assume people have been testing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, pretty cool card, I would say. Yeah, let's see what we got here next. We got this Raichu. Some people have been talking about. It's mostly for its first attack. This attack does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX. And the main reason why people have been talking about this is because if you put a wide lens on it, you can actually do 100 damage to your opponent's bench Shaymin EX. But that still doesn't knock them out.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately.
I don't think that this card is really that good at all.
I see where people are getting at, like with the whole widespread, you can do a lot of damage, to a lot of EXs, and even with that wide lens combo, you can be doing 100 damage to things that are weak to electric, and that kind of thing, but I don't really know. It's kind of, it's alright in the sense of how much damage it could be doing potentially to a lot of Pokemon.
I think it could be interesting in expanded format with Dusknoir.
Yeah.
That could be kind of interesting. Maybe, I don't know. It seems kind of like it'd be kind of cool. Overall, pretty meh card. Not quite good enough at the current moment. But then we have Raichu Break, which for a lightning and 2 colorless does 170 damage and discard all energy attached. So that could be really cool for say a Raichu Crobat deck, the Raichu from XY that does damage based on the amount of bench Pokemon you have. Normally if you have a full bench, you're only doing 160. So say you don't have a muscle band, but you need to do that 10 extra damage to get the knockout. There you have it.
Break evolution right there in the Raichu Break.
Or it can help with certain math, like 170, and then if you have 2 Golbat drops, you can knock out a Mega Manectric or something like that. Yeah, this is a pretty cool card. Also adds HP to Raichu, so yeah. Overall, I think it's pretty good.
I think that's one of the most playable Break evolutions we have.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better Break evolutions. That's for sure. And then another big powerhouse of this set, Magnezone. It's a lot like Blastoise.
Exactly.
Except you attach electric energies from as many as you want. And that can be pretty cool. We've been seeing some people testing that out with different electric type Pokemon, like Pikachu EX and Raikou. We'll go over Raikou in a little bit. But yeah, overall, pretty cool card.
Yep, all we need is Lieutenant Surge's sneaky tactics. Yeah.
I hate you so much. Oh, and disclaimer, this is the better Magnemite because it gives your Magnemite free retreat if you have other Magnemites on your bench. That's really nice. Does this do anything significant?
I don't think so.
I mean, you can paralyze. Yeah.
No.
Did they have the same attack? They do, the lightning ball.
You're going to see a lot of Pokemon in this set actually do have their second attack is the same. There are three Chespins in this set, and their second attack is all Seed Bomb.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of that in this set.
Yeah.
A lot of incomplete evolutions lines that actually really upset me. Because they have Fennekin, Braixen, no Delphox, Frogadier, no Greninja. That bothers me. I'm sorry. Moving on. So we got Raikou here, which is really cool. Its attack is very similar to Keldeo EX. 50 damage plus 20 more for each lightning energy. And the Shining Body ability is really cool too. If you have a lightning energy attached, it takes 20 less damage. So that's pretty awesome as well.
And paired with that Magnezone, that Pokemon could be deadly.
You essentially have Keldeo Blastoise, but your main attacker is a non-EX. And that's pretty strong. Just because it has the same attack, plus an interesting ability that's pretty helpful. I think this could possibly be really good. Granted, Blastoise does have the ability to get out without the pre-evolutions,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a big thing. Well, it's a very big thing. That's the reason why it's been so successful.
Yeah,
But
Magnezone doesn't have anything to do that yet, but I still think it could possibly. I mean, obviously you could always go the rare candy route.
yeah,
And I mean, still getting out stage 2s is kind of tough, but I think with Raikou, I mean, it could still find some play, honestly.
yeah. I'm still thinking that there's going to be the next set is going to bring some form of help for stage 2s,
Mm-hmm.
just based off of how many good stage 2s there are in this set. Oh, also, I forgot to even bring this up at all. This Vanillux, I'm pretty sure, is pretty cool. Yeah, so Frigid Breath, it prevents your opponent from playing. Each player can't play any. Until the end of your next turn, each player can't play any supporter or stadium cards. So that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting lock. Yeah. Kind of preventing yourself from playing supporters is pretty gross, but
Yeah.
I assume you would get around that by making sure you have a lot of item-based draw, or even playing like Octillery to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I just saw that right now. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a thing. So next we have this Gengar, and you want to talk about this Gengar a little bit?
Sure. Okay, its first attack's pretty cool. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That's pretty neat. And then the Creep Show. Whoa, that's kind of weird. I haven't actually read this card yet. But if your opponent's active Pokemon has 3 or more damage counters on it, that Pokemon is now knocked out. And so, I mean, with you using Sinister Fog and putting 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, I mean, you're starting to build up damage counters, and even paired with like some kind of idiom like Team Magma's hideout, secret hideout,
secret base. I don't know.
It's something like that. But whenever you attach an energy to a non-Team Magma Pokemon, you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, and then using Creep Show, I mean, you could get some nice knockouts with only having 30 damage on your opponent's active Pokemon.
And you can also make it cost 1 energy with Dimension Valley. And also you can use Pokemon like Crobat, the Crobat line, put damage counters down. Or even Gengar EX, its first attack puts 3 damage counters down, so set up for knockouts. This could be a really good card. But I feel like this is really good against EX Pokemon, not so much against non-EX Pokemon. But the standard format is really big on non-EX Pokemon. Granted, some not, but I don't see it being too good at this day and age, sadly. No matter how much I want this to be good, I don't think it can be good. But now here we have 4 different Mewtwo's. 4 different Mewtwo EXs.
Yeah.
The first one is pretty cool, mainly for its first attack, Photon Wave, 30 damage, and then any damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn is reduced by 30. This is really good if you're going to play Mewtwo in a more of a colorless fashion with like Bronzong. You'll see the Mega Mewtwo that works with this. But yeah, so essentially if you're going to be playing a Mewtwo deck, but you're not going to be using Psychic Energies, this is probably the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then
on the other hand, if you're going to be using Psychic Energies, this would definitely be the Mewtwo to go to, because if it's Shatter Shot, and this does 30 damage times the amount of Psychic Energy you have attached to this Pokemon, which is an incredible amount. I mean, you can get up to some high numbers with this attack.
Mm-hmm. And then this damage change attack is pretty cool too. Switch all damage counters on this Pokemon with those on your opponent's active Pokemon. So if Mewtwo EX has a bunch of damage on it, your opponent's active has no damage. You just give them all your damage. Essentially, you do a max potion plus attack them at the same time. It's pretty cool. And now onto the Mega Mewtwo EXs. So the first one here, Mega Mewtwo EXX. So hard to say.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Okay, so it does 150 damage. If there's any stadium card in play, this attack does 50 more damage, and this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance or any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So, that means that you do have to have the stadium in play for it to not be affected by any other effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, based off the word "and" here. But also, it's a weird energy cost. Psychic, fighting, colorless.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have 230 HP. Very nice. And you can reduce this cost with Dimension Valley, and you could play stuff like Landorus from Furious Fist to get fighting energies onto your bench Pokemon. You can also use Smeargle to switch out different energies from your discard pile. I think we'll be talking about Smeargle in a little bit. But yeah, so overall, pretty cool card.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Definitely a cool card. And now, probably one of the most hyped Pokemon from the set, I think.
The most hyped.
Probably one of the most hyped, I'd say. The Mega Mewtwo EX-Y.
Yeah, those names are so long.
You want to go into this one, Trey?
Oh, yeah, sure. And so, its attack for a double colorless or two colorless, Psychic Infinity, 10 plus 30 more damage for the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. And this damage isn't affected by weakness. And so,
Wow.
it is a pumped up version of X-Ball.
X-Ball on steroids.
Yeah. This thing will do a ton of damage for a ridiculously low amount of energy.
Yeah, so essentially, if you have, if you have 6 energy between the two Pokemon, then it's a knockout on any EX, on any normal EX. One thing to point out here, though, is that the attack isn't affected by weakness, so that means that weakness does not apply, so you really won't have Mewtwo Wars won't be as big.
Yeah, exactly. Mewtwo Wars won't be happening like they were with the X-Ball Mewtwo's, trying to find that lucky number of 5 energy between the two.
Or when Muscle Band came out,
Yeah.
4 energy plus a Muscle Band.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, pretty cool card. Pretty awesome. Does a lot of damage. Hasn't been seen a lot of play, surprisingly, but probably because of all the non-EXs that are in the format. But overall, it's a pretty good card, I think.
Definitely.
So we have this Miss Magius here. Just want to talk about it for a little bit. It's kind of cool. When you evolve into this Pokemon, you may have your opponent shuffle their hand to the deck and then draw a card for each of their remaining prize cards. So kind of forcing your opponent to use N. Kind of cool.
Maybe in certain situations that could help.
I don't see it being worth playing this card.
Yeah.
Its attack isn't good at all. So, but yeah, just an interesting ability. That is all. And, what do we got next? Oh, next we got this Marowak here. So this Marowak is pretty cool. It's pretty similar to Donphan from Plasma Storm. Its Bone Windmill attack does 60 damage, and then if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, switch this Pokemon with one of the bench Pokemon. So, this is pretty cool. The only downside to this is, well, there's 2 downsides, really. It does, actually, probably 3. But, so, the first downside, it does cost 2 energies, unlike Donphan's, which only costs 1. Your opponent's active Pokemon does have to be an EX for you to switch out, which is probably one of the bigger downsides.
Yeah.
Just because of, like we talked about, how many non-EXs are in the format. Being able to switch out is really important for this style of card to work, and forcing your opponent's active Pokemon to be an EX to switch out is pretty sketchy. And then also, it doesn't have the big secondary attack like Donphan did with Wreck, because the most this is going to do is the base 60 plus any fighting bonuses you have. But it does snipe to your bench if you want to with sharpshooting. That's kind of cool. But overall, I like the card.
It's got some perks to it, and then some, obviously some kinks and stuff, but
I just kind of wish it could be better. I think if it switched no matter what, this would be insanely good. This would be insanely good. Well, then, to go along with that, we have ourselves Marowak Break. And, Trey, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, sure. Let me just crook my head here.
Okay,
so for one fighting, one colorless, Bone Revenge. This attack does 40 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So it's 20 plus 40 for each prize they've taken. And so, in late game, this card is going to be extremely strong. It gives, obviously, your Marowak more HP. And, for a total, it can do 260 damage. Oh, not 260. That'd be if your opponent took 6 prizes. And you would lose. No, I'm sorry. But your opponent, basically, you'd be doing 220 at the most if your opponent had taken 5 prizes, which, I mean, that's a lot of damage, definitely, for 2 energy.
Or you can be doing 180 if your opponent's taken 4 prizes, which is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I guess if they've taken 3 and you have some buffs like strong energies and stuff.
Yeah, fighting stadium, that kind of stuff too with EXs, which, I mean, aren't very prevalent at the moment, but
still pretty cool. Also adds HP to your Marowak, so yeah, overall I think this is another pretty good break. I'd say so. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now the best deck in the standard format, we got Piloswine here. So this attack, the second attack is what we're going to be looking at. This attack does 10 more damage for each colorless in the retreat cost of your Swine Up, Piloswine, and Mamoswine. So, and then it's a fighting type, so you can add fighting buffs to it.
Mm-hmm.
So with just this out, it does 50 damage. Pretty gross. But then when you have a bunch of like Mamoswines and Swine Up set up, Swine Up only has a 1 retreat cost, but Mamoswine has a 4 retreat cost, which is going to be the big kicker.
Yeah, it's going to have to pump you up.
And then if you also play Shrine of Memories, then you can use Mamoswine to use Piloswine's attack, which is pretty cool. But so this, it seems like a fun rogue deck, but overall probably not good. Probably not good at all. But then Mamoswine itself, it does 80 damage, and then if you have a stadium card in play, this attack does 40 more damage. If your opponent has a stadium card in play, he'll 40 damage. Now that's kind of an interesting attack.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a card that's worded like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a card that's like it's based on who has control of the stadium type thing. But yeah, and then also reduce damage from fire and water Pokemon by 30. That also can be really good for Mamoswine and for Piloswine. Deck. But yeah, overall kind of a fun concept. And then here we have Gallade.
Oh yeah, Gallade. And so its ability, once during your turn, you may look at top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on top of your deck in any order, which is an incredibly strong ability. I mean, just to be able to see that many cards and be able to decide what you're going to be drawing here soon is incredibly strong, and its attack is pretty good too. And so for double colorless or 2 colorless, sensitive blade, if you play a supporter this turn, this attack does 70 more damage to the 60 it's already doing, so it does 130 damage for a double colorless, which is very good energy. I mean, and a lot of people have been thinking about playing this with Maxies and being able to do that. And so
yeah, this definitely has been seeing a lot of play since it's come out. Is mainly in the Eviltal Zoroark Gallade deck. Has been seeing quite a bit of play at City Championships most recently. So overall, this is a very good card from this set. Probably one of the best. Just because you can do a lot of damage for just a double colorless energy. If you have like a Muscle Band, you play Giovanni Scheme, you're doing 170 for a double colorless on a non-EX Pokemon. That's insane. And 150 HP to go along with that is just awesome. Oh, yeah, and then, okay, so then next we'll go on to the Zoroark, which I think if I had to say one card is the biggest card of the set, it would probably be this Zoroark. And its ability, Stand-In, is very similar to Keldeo EX, where once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. So essentially you get a stand-in for the active Pokemon. I'm sorry, that was horrible. And then on top of that, it has a really good attack. It does, for a double colorless, it does 10 damage, and then this attack does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And that can do a lot of damage.
That can definitely do a ton of damage.
Like, if you have a Muscle Band on this, and your opponent has 5 Pokemon on their bench, that's 180 damage for a double colorless.
Yeah, exactly.
So, of course, your opponent can play around this, but most decks require you to use up pretty much all your bench space, especially with Shaman EX being in the format.
Yeah, and I mean, some even use Skyfield still, and
fill up their bench even more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Overall, an amazing card. A really good card from this set.
Yeah, it's all around extremely good.
You can even tell by some of the price over here. I mean, it's going for like probably about $650 for a hollow rare.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't happen very often, especially with EX Pokemon and Break Pokemon coming out. This is going for probably more than quite a few of the EXs and Breaks.
Yeah, in the set.
So yeah, this is a very good card. Very good card. Okay, then after that we have the Zoroark Break, which has been seeing some play, and we're just waiting for it to load right now. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Trey, you can talk about this one.
All right, and so for this, it's got for 1 Dark Energy. It's got the attack Foul Play, and I believe it's choose one of your opponent's opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it for this attack. And so that is almost a direct copy of the old Black and White Foul Play Zoroark, except for that one used a double colorless instead of just 1 Dark Energy. And that has been known to be an extremely strong attack utilizing your opponent's attacks. And not only does it have that attack, it also gives your Zoroark 40 more HP, which is always good. And I mean, this card's pretty strong. I mean, it hasn't seen obviously as much play as the regular Zoroark, but
it has seen some play.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the time, people have been choosing between either playing this Zoroark Break or playing Gallade in their Yveltal Zoroark decks. So definitely good card. Good card. Okay. So next we'll go on to this Yveltal. Yveltal is kind of interesting. Its ability is that as long as this Pokemon's active, all tool cards have no effect. And then it's Pitch Black Spear. Pitch Dark Spear. But, no. Okay, so, yeah, for Dark and 2 colorless, it does 60 damage and then 60 more damage if your opponent's... this attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon.
EX.
Okay, I thought it was like old Bouffalant doing 60 plus 60. Oh. Okay, so this card isn't as possibly playable as I thought it was. But, yeah, it's a cool effect. It's kind of cool. I don't think it's that good. Next, we do have this Bronzor. This new Bronzor actually probably is the Bronzor you want to play if you're going to play Bronzong from Phantom Forces, because it does have 60 HP, which prevents it from easily dying from Crobat damage, because instead of having to get a Golbat plus a Crobat, you have to get 2 Golbats on it. Mm-hmm. No, 2 Crobats, or 2 Golbats and a Crobat, something like that. And then its attack is actually pretty cool. If your opponent has only 1 prize card left, this attack does 60 more damage, so it does 70 total. Could be a last-ditch effort type of thing. 70 for a double colorless isn't too bad on a common. But, yeah. And then we got this Bronzong here, and you want to talk about this first attack for us.
Alright, and just for a double colorless Pain Amplifier, put 3 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it already. So, I mean, you're just getting a nice widespread of damage from this Bronzong.
Yeah. If you use, like, Fortress from Flashfire, you evolve into Fortress, put 10 damage on everything. Pain Amplifier does 30 to everything, essentially. And, expanded, you can use Dusknoir. This could be a fun rogue. Yeah. That's about it.
Just kind of an interesting card.
It's cool. And now we got bringing back old Mr. Mime.
Bench Barrier. Prevent all damage done to your benched Pokemon by attacks.
Yeah. So we haven't been seeing this used a lot recently, but this is pretty much almost a direct copy of the Mr. Mime from Plasma Freeze, except now this is a Fairy type, and old Mr. Mime was a Psychic type, but yeah, you prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks, which is pretty good if you're going, especially in the expanded format where you got Landorus EX, you got Genesect EX, you got Darkrai EX, Kyurem from Plasma Kyurem, you got a lot of stuff hitting the bench. But, so yeah, this is pretty cool. Next, we have Florges here. Florges, kind of okay. Its ability, each of your Pokemon's attacks costs 1 fairy less. Now, this doesn't count as taking away a colorless attachment.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it specifically has to be a fairy
attachment.
Energy?
Okay.
So, it's kind of cool, I guess. I feel like it being at stage 2 makes it way too slow.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like a stage 1, it could be useful. But, yeah. Then to go with that, we got Florges Break. Oh, this card's gross.
Yeah, this card's pretty bad.
You want to go over Trey?
I don't really want to.
Okay.
But it heals 30 damage from. I think it heals 30 damage and remove all special conditions from your active Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, just one special condition. Remove a singular special condition.
A special. Okay.
Not
that's
all.
kind of weird.
So if you're asleep and poison, aka hypnotoxic,
you gotta
you
choose.
pick.
You gotta pick which one you're not.
Yeah, which is pretty bad.
Pretty freaking weird.
That's all. We got this Noivern break. This is the thing. Synchro Woofer does 70 damage, and then if you have the same amount of cards in your hand as your opponent's attack, does 80 more damage.
Judge.
So you can play Judge or something. You do 150, 170 with a muscle band.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird energy requirement. Psychic Dark and colorless.
But you can use double dragon energy, so you got that benefit.
Oh yeah, you got that benefit.
Overall, not very good. Probably not very good. And we do have this Dodrio here. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your active Pokemon's tree cost is 2 less.
Which is always nice.
That's pretty cool. This could probably see some play in the future, but we do have Floatstone is back. So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, Dodrio, you're just not good enough at the moment. But we do have this Noxowl. Pretty cool. If you want to talk about this one, Trey.
Okay, it's High Flight attack. For a double colorless, each player reveals his or her hand. This attack does 20 damage times the number of item cards revealed. And so, I mean, item cards are extremely heavy in the format right now, and you could be potentially doing a lot of damage with.
Yeah. Especially if you play, say, like a Vileplume, then you prevent your opponent from ever playing items. Their hand is just clogged with items. Mm-hmm. This could be really good. Hasn't really been seen play, but I think it could be good. Okay, and then we got, I think our last Pokemon here, we got Smeargle. Its ability, once during your turn, you may switch a basic energy card attached to your active Pokemon with a different type of basic energy card from your discard pile. Now looking at this, you're like, how can this be good? You're just switching energy. Why? This is dumb. Well, this can be good, and like we said with the Mega Mewtwo EX, you switch, say, a psychic energy for fighting energy because you need more fighting energy on it. Or maybe you're using Bronzong and you're playing like Tyrantrum EX and you can Metal Links on a steel energy, then switch it out for a fighting energy if you need it. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool card. Yeah. I could see, this has been seeing some play, and I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's all of our Pokemon, and now we'll just quick go over all the items, or trainer cards, I should say.
There's so many.
There's a lot.
And so we got Assault Vest here, and so any damage done to this Pokemon, this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have any special energy attached to them is reduced by 40.
So that's pretty good. Just it's a weird hard charm.
Yeah, it's weirdly specific hard charm.
Yeah, but special energies are really prominent in the format in general. So yeah, pretty cool. And Brigette, I think this is what everyone's been waiting for. Is this card Brigette? So you search your deck for either one basic Pokemon EX. You don't do that. You never do that. Or 3 basic Pokemon, non-EX Pokemon, and put them onto your bench. So Pokemon Collector is back, babies.
It is back. So
yeah, this is really cool. I think Pokemon Fan Club could possibly be useful in some ways still, just because you can get EX Pokemon off of it, or you can get like Hoopa EX and stuff. Oh jeez, Mike, stay up here. Okay, so yeah, but you get non-EX Pokemon. It's really good for those non-EX decks that are really strong in the format. But yeah, that's cool. And now we got Buddy Rescue.
Oh boy, each player puts a Pokemon from his or her discard pile to his or her hand.
Your opponent chooses first. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is kind of a joke card when we first saw this, but it has been somewhat useful. And like you can get like Shaman's back, this is kind of useful. And we got good old Fisherman.
Yep.
Put 4 basic energy cards from a discard pile in your hand. Really good for those like Magna Zone decks. Because you don't have superior energy retrieval in standard. It's a pretty cool card. Nice reprint. And the best reprint of all,
Floatstone. We were scared for a little while. Didn't have it.
Yeah. And then with the Zoroark coming out at the same time, you got Keldeo Floatstones back. Insanely good. Everyone's happy about this. That is all. Now, Giovanni's Scheme is a pretty interesting supporter card.
Yeah, I like this thing where they're doing the choose one effect or the other. I mean, they have a lot of cards that are having. I mean, with Brigette, you have to either choose one EX or 3 regular Pokemon, 3 regular basics. It's got this kind of theme to it, and I kind of like it. And so with Giovanni's scheme, you have choose one, draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand, or during this turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon.
And I think the second choice is probably the more popular one. Because drawing cards until you have 5 cards in your hand is honestly pretty bad for a supporter. It is a worse Bianca. Bianca hasn't seen play for years. So yeah, this is the main effect of it, I think. So, but yeah, cool card. And we got Glalie, Spirit Link. We know what Spirit Links do.
We've had Spirit Links.
We got good old Heavy Ball.
Yep. Tree cost of 3 or more. We can get that.
Get out Tyrantrum EX, Giratina EX.
Yeah. I couldn't think of any more.
You get other stuff. I mean, Machamp EX. Some people have been trying out Machamp EX and Smeargle and stuff. Heavy Boots.
Heavy Boots. It's weirdly specific, like a weirdly specific card, where if your retreat cost your Pokemon has 3 or more, that Pokemon gets 20 more HP and can't be confused.
Specifically, can't be confused.
Yeah.
Other special conditions still apply, just not confused.
It can't be confused.
I feel like this was specifically made for Machamp EX because its first attack confuses it, and then the 20 HP makes it so Steaming Mad can do more damage because it's like 20 times the number of damage counters.
Okay.
But it's
still weirdly specific, and I guess for that Pokemon, for Machamp EX it works, I guess.
There's just that one guy at TPCI is like, guys, I really want Machamp EX to be good, and then everyone's like, dude, what are you talking about? What do you want us to do? Like
Heavy Boots.
Heavy Boots. No, but people have actually been playing with the Bronzong and Smeargle to like switch out the energies. It's kind of cool. But yeah, so Machamp EX actually is better, but not because of this card. But yeah, Houndoom, Spirit Link, you know what that does. Good old Judge. Yeah, we've been talking about this card quite a bit. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck and draw 4 cards. It really helps you match hand size for certain decks that require that. Yeah, pretty cool. Cool reprint. Oh, you know what Spirit Link's do?
Spirit Link. Parallel City. Oh boy.
Now, this is a cool card. So,
okay, we know you guys can't see, like, the blue side, but, I mean...
Well, you can't. I mean, you can turn your head upside down.
Yeah, you could turn your head upside down if you really want to do that.
So, essentially, you play down the stadium, and you decide which player has what effect. So, if you have the blue side facing you, you decide... So, the blue side is facing towards you. You can only have 3 bench Pokemon. It reduces your bench down to 3. The other one, on the red side, is you choose... this is so hard to say. Any damage done by attacks from this player, so if it's facing you, any damage done by attacks from your Pokemon's grass, fire, or water types is reduced by 20 before applying weakness and resistance. So I think the main effect is for this reduced bench size, which is pretty cool, but at the same time it reduces what you do.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you are playing a grass, fire, water deck, that's going to affect you a little bit. I mean, obviously that's going to impact you, but reducing your opponent's bench size down to 3, that messes with basically any deck. I mean, that's...
Because almost all decks require a lot of bench space. Granted, it does allow your opponent to get rid of their Shaman, so they're not targets anymore. But certain decks, like, say, like Raichu, like, if Parallel City's in play, they're only doing 60 damage with Circle Circuit now. And most of the time, they'll have to probably discard some valuable Pokemon, like Crobats or Raichus or something. They'll probably avoid Raichus. But still, it's like, this is a pretty... Dang. It's
a pretty cool card.
This has been seen as quite a bit of disruption. Very cool. Professor's Letter. We got this bad boy back. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards. Put them in your hand. Woo. It's fun. Cool for Magnezone.
Reserve ticket. I thought this was going to be a lot better than what I thought. Like, when I originally saw it, I thought it was flip a coin of heads, search your deck for a card, put it in your hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Whoa. But no, it's actually put on the top of your deck.
After you shuffle it. So
yeah.
It's pretty meh.
Yeah.
Not that good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this card would be insanely good.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be pretty sweet. And we got good old Skyla back.
Skyla's back.
Search your deck for a training card, reveal it, put it in your hand. So yeah, now you don't. If you Karina is now you have the option between Skyla and Karina. Skyla's more versatile, but Karina's really good for fighting decks. Skyla is probably just a little too slow. You got to play really fast paced, like as fast paced as possible. I think in this current format. But Skyla's still a good card. I wouldn't dock someone from playing it. But then we got
Super Rod back.
There's a lot of reprints in this set.
Oh, a lot of reprints. A lot of good reprints too.
Yeah. But yeah, Super Rod. We had Energy Recycler. We had Sacred Ash. Those shuffle in 5 of either Pokemon or energies. Now we bring back the old mix of 3. Shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. This is just really good because then you get the versatility of choosing between the two. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Definitely.
Super Rod's awesome. And our last trainer card here, we bring back
Town Map. So many.
Yeah, turn all of your prize cards face up. Both you and your opponent see your prize cards. And they just stay up for the rest of the game, so you always get to choose which prize cards you take. But yeah, bringing this bad boy back, pretty cool. And then we got our one new special energy from this set, Burning Energy. It can only be attached to Fire-type Pokemon. If this card is discarded by an attack of the Fire-type Pokemon that it's attached to, after the attack, you attach the card from your discard pile to the Pokemon after attacking. So, like we were talking about, it's useful for like the Mega Houndoom.
Because then you can discard it. It is just going to come back.
Yeah. It can also be used for like Pyroar from Flash Fire because you make it so you can always do 110 each turn. But yeah, it's cool. I like it.
But it's still in some cases it's susceptible to crushing hammers and then
more susceptible to enhanced hammers. Yeah,
that type of thing.
But overall, it's a cool effect. I think it's good. Fire type Pokemon in general just aren't overly strong at the moment.
Yeah.
And then we got Rainbow Energy back. Woo! Attach it. Whenever you attach it to a Pokemon, you put a damage counter on them, and then it counts as
one of any energy.
It counts
only
as
one
all
though.
of them. Yeah, only one. Counts as all of them, but only counts as one. Whatever. It's a confusing concept. And we'll just take a look at the full arts here. Full arts are cool.
They're just cool to look at.
That's pretty cute. Take a quick look at CSEs. I actually think this is a really cool one. I like this one a lot.
Don't you have this card?
I do have this card.
Exactly.
I'm not playing Mega Houndoom.
Yeah, you should definitely play.
No.
Do you know how many Houndooms and Mega Houndooms you've pulled? Enough to play Mega Houndoom.
Not really. I've only pulled like 1 Houndoom and like 2 Megas.
Maybe I pulled Houndoom.
Maybe.
I'll let you borrow some Houndoom.
No.
Yeah.
Glalie X looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Glalie looks like he's gonna eat your face.
Yep.
He's actually like eating the Mega Evolution roll over here.
here.
That's kind of funny. And we got the full art Mewtwo's.
Those are pretty
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. And then got the
looking super
snazzy. Cool. Now this is also a really awesome full art. Like I think.
These are pretty sweet
like
full arts.
This purple blue clash stuff is insane. And then we got the Mega Mewtwo Y full art. Also looks very cool with the
pink and purple.
Pink and red and yellow and stuff. And we got full art Brigette. Very happy to see this. Brigette's playable. It's cool. Giovanni's also playable. Looks really cool.
You see why they do this with
Ace Trainer,
Ace Trainer and Hex Maniac.
Well, more Hex Maniac
Hex
now.
Maniac, yeah.
Ace
We originally thought Ace Trainer, but hasn't seen hardly any play.
Yeah. And then it kind of disappoints me that the Secret Rares are just the same Mewtwo's from the set. So in reality, there are actually 10 different prints of Mewtwo EX in this set. But
they're still super cool looking.
They look awesome. I mean, you got this cool blue background with like the different Pokemon. You got the Meloetta and the Zoroark Haxorus on this one. And this one.
And just look at all these guys. They're all just like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it's a really cool art, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Trey, what do you think about this set? How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's a set full of awesome reprints, and I mean, I'm slightly disappointed in the EXs to some degree. I mean, I know that mainly it's non-EX we're using non-EXs in decks and, I mean, that kind of thing. But I wish these EXs were just a little bit more playable and just a little bit further. And, I mean, we do have some prospects for, like, non-EX attackers, but, I mean, they're kind of stage 2s, kind of hard to get to. I mean, this set is pretty alright, in my opinion. We've seen some pretty good stuff come out of it.
I think it has a lot of good trainers and stuff. The EXs are kind of meh, honestly. What interesting to notice is that the only EXs are actually, like, corresponding with Mega EXs as well. There are no just normal EXs. Like, I mean, last set, oh geez, what was last set?
Ancient Origins.
Ancient Origins, you had, like, Giratina EX, Lugia EX,
Hoopa.
like, Hoopa. You had stuff that didn't correspond with, or correlate, I don't know, words, that, correlated with Megas, but now every EX in the set is correlated with some Mega. Which is kind of, okay, I guess, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I'm actually, the amount of EXs is so low in this set.
Yeah, there's only like 8. Well, I mean, it's in reality, it's almost like there's 4 because you have the 4 Megas, which are really the important ones when you think about it. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. But we do have the breaks, which are pretty cool, and I guess that kind of makes up for a little bit. But yeah, overall, I think the set has it has been affecting the game quite a bit with like Gallade and Zoroark being the really big ones.
And then Parallel City's been thrown in there.
City, just Brigette, Floatstone, those are really big.
Mainly the trainers.
But yeah, overall pretty cool set. I'm excited to see what what comes out from the next set. And you got anything else, Trey?
I'm excited to see like how far and what happens to the break evolutions. I feel like those are gonna pop up later, and I hope that they are gonna make stage 2s a little bit more playable, because there are a couple stage 2s in here that weren't bad.
So yeah, I think that wraps up this video. As always, make sure to like and subscribe to see more awesome Pokemon content. We'll be trying to get out more stuff to you guys as much as we can. We're both really busy in this time of year, and so we'll try our best. And yeah, shout outs to Pokelector for pretty much being the only place on the internet that we could find an easy way to look at scans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You got anything else, Trey?
Nope. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think of the BreakThrough set, and what you guys think is going to be, what decks might come out of this set, what you think that, maybe you guys think that something's a little bit more playable than we think. Just shout us out on that.
Yeah. And make sure to comment down below also any video ideas you have for us, any decks you want to see on like maybe a Battle Corner video, anything like that. Makes it a lot easier for us to make content for you guys, which is always really nice. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's Pokemon Troupe signing off. Pokemon Troupe out!